Good morning, and thanks again for joining me. I have the greatest pleasure to introduce to you this beautiful woman in our next interview. Her name is Anne Alexson, who is the soul speaker, and she is an incredible human being who works with women all across the world. She helps people to step out of struggle and into flow. So she's an incredible woman to be able to support women across the world in doing this. And I had the very great pleasure I kept on bumping into Anne Alexson online in several Facebook communities, and she just kept coming up in my Facebook feed, and I thought, I have to meet this woman. So we talked on Skype once, and then I went and joined one of her circles in person, and it was an incredible, profound experience. So if you ever get the chance to have time with this woman, I thoroughly recommend it. So thank you so much for joining me, Anne.
Thank you so much. What beautiful words to introduce me.
My pleasure. So Anne, thank you so much for agreeing to have a bit of time with me this morning. As you know, I really enjoy supporting my team, my people who are building their essential oil business. And many of us do not come from, we didn't even think, oh, well, I did, but many other people don't think, oh, I'm going to make a business out of this. And there is a little bit of that struggle in, I love the oils, but what's my next step, and how do I go into that kind of flow state with making this, what I know, accessible to a lot of people? Is there any advice that you could give people to help them get to that more sort of centered, less struggling kind of place?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as you know, it's my pleasure also to work with women to empower them, because we need women empowered. And you do a great job with getting them involved in the business and starting to take control of their income and the money that's coming in such a beautiful way. And the only thing that would stop anyone from doing that, really, is a sense of, who am I to do this? I'm not enough. And so one of the greatest practices that I personally do myself, and I've been doing it for over a year now, I started it just before Christmas 2016, is the I am enough work. And I do it hardcore. There's nothing. I was determined to stop feeling as though I weren't enough in things, and I wanted to also share that with my clients. So I started a set of 8 alarms on my phone. Every time the alarm goes off, every hour during the working day, I have to say I am enough. Because what I know about your brain is that it has to hear from your own voice the words that you want it to say. That's the way to retrain it. And I know you've got oils and things that help with all of those sorts of things too.
Yeah.
So know yourself as enough. And even if you don't feel it yet, pretend that you think you're enough, and just keep going until you prove it to yourself, because you absolutely will prove it to yourself, because you are that already.
Yes. Yeah, they're beautiful words, Anne. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other advice on, telling ourselves you're enough, I am enough through the reminders and things? Any other practices that can sort of help, like even if maybe you're seeing this and you're going, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no. Look, truly, the best way to do it is to trick your brain. We have to trick our brain. So even there's just so many different ways you can use the I am enough stuff. There's heaps of YouTube clips that use the words I am enough. I've got one myself, which is just a little energy infused video that I had made with some words on it. But there's so much out there. One of the best things to do is and this is where my practice started, I watched a video from a woman by the name of Marissa Peer, and it's called I Am Not Enough. She calls it the biggest disease in the world today, and I agree with her. I absolutely agree with it. Other things that I've done, because my son, I noticed these sorts of things happening with him as well, that he was feeling as though he wasn't enough, or feeling, just not good enough, or not as clever as someone else, not as smart as someone else, not as worthy as someone else. I simply painted a piece of art, and I observed him to see where he opened his eyes in the morning. So was he lying on his left side, his right side, or wherever, and I placed the art where he would see it when he woke up. Because what happens when we see something, even now, just if you look around your room, you see something, you read it.
Yeah.
Don't you?
You do, yeah.
So you're saying it to your brain. So the image that I painted for him was simply, I am enough. It just said, I am enough, in coloured paint. So that would be what he'd see in the morning, and he'd wake up and your brain naturally says it to you, or you think the words that you see to yourself. So waking up to that first thing in the morning, I use it as my wake-up alarm as well. It's the very first alarm that I get in the morning. I pick up my phone and I say, I am enough. So I start the day like that. It's really important. I mean, Louise Hay and lots of the authors and things recommend that you just simply write it in lipstick on your mirror. There are just so many ways to do it. But I personally love my smartphone with all my alarms on it. They're all set to go off, and I set them to continue going off. So you set it up once, that's all you have to do. There's no more work, because sometimes we sabotage ourselves if we have to do something else. So I just went, you know what, I'm just going to put these in here. I'm going to let them run forever, and we'll see what happens. And my Lord, it changed me. It really did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And in what ways did it change you, did you see?
Well, I've become far, far more confident. My business has just boomed over the last year. I don't know if you can see, it's gone a little bit, you know, lots of products coming out, lots of things that I'm creating. It just unleashed that part of me that finally decided to actually do the things that I wanted to do instead of just think about them and want to do them but not take action. And I had some evidence early on that it was working for me, because I was in the shower one day about 2 or 3 months after I'd started doing it, and I was having one of those arguments in my head. I don't know if you do that. I thought I was the only one until I shared it, and then people said, oh, I do that as well. And I feel so silly. But essentially, I was in the shower, washing my hair, and I was in my head having an argument with a person I hadn't been married to for 11 years now. I was still trying to prove in my head to him that I was right. And I stopped for a second, because, you know, you do this work, you become aware of your thinking. And I thought to myself, why am I doing that? And I heard a voice say, because you're not enough. That was a part of my brain saying to me, this is why you do it. And then I heard another part of my brain start saying, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. And it just kept going and going and going. It was real evidence to me that my brain was starting to change the way it was talking to me. So that was the very first time I ended up wet hair, shampoo, crying, laughing hysterically. It was just a very strange experience. And it wasn't the first time. I had that again and again with various things. One time I was looking at something on my computer, and a sales page for a course I wanted to do, and I was I so want this. And then I thought, why am I doing this? If I can't afford it, why am I sitting here poring over this sales page, wanting it so much? And again, I heard that voice, and then I heard the other one. And that was more evidence that it was working as well. So it just allowed me to truly step into doing all of the things that I've been dreaming of doing for a long time but never took action on, you know?
Yes. That's a very profound impact of just quite a very, very simple technique. It is so simple. I think it's so profound because it is so simple.
Absolutely. Look, I have a personal philosophy, is that everything is supposed to be simple. We make things so complicated to fulfill our masculine energy, because it likes complication, to fulfill our societal energy, because society says things are supposed to be hard. But I truly believe that simplicity is the way to wherever we're going with everything. So I try to make things as simple as possible.
Yeah, I love that, Anne. I love that. That's wonderful. Do you have any other beautiful insights that you'd like to sort of let other, the people who are liking to build up their business? Any other advice of getting into that stream of flow?
Yeah, I do actually, because as you know, I work with the soul. And, whether you call that your higher self or your guides or angels or whatever you want to call it, just that inner part of you that kind of all of us can feel it. We're all starting to really feel it now. I believe that the way to truly come back to who you are is to call back all the aspects of yourself that you've let go of. Now, what I mean by that is this. We come into life and we're a full soul. And then, you know, perhaps our mother says to us, you can't have that. You know, does money grow on trees? Or your father perhaps says to you, go away, I'm talking to someone else. And we start to feel rejection. And we let go of a part of ourselves because of that. Mm. And we put a judgment on ourselves that, hey, maybe I'm not all that like I thought I was when I was a little girl. Mm. And we actually spend our whole life doing this, finding men that disrespect us and women that disrespect us, you know, finding so many things that tell us that we're not a full self, that we're not enough. And so we throw away little bits of ourselves every single time that we take that on board. And if we can wake up every day and invite those parts of ourselves back, and by the way, all you have to do is ask, all you have to do is say, I invite back all of those parts of myself that I've thrown away, that I've scared away, that I've chosen not to be, and allow them to come back. I don't know if you can feel the energy right now as I'm talking about this. You'd be able to feel that within you. Yes. Invite all those parts back. The way that I do that, of course, is to simply wake up and say, good morning, soul. What adventures are we getting up to today? That makes an assumption that all those parts of you are there with you. And again, simplicity. And of course, the other way to do that is to take my quiz and learn what your soul vibration is. And that way you can start doing the things in the booklet that will draw all of your soul back to you. Yeah.
Beautiful, Anne, and I'll include a link to that quiz because I've done that. It was beautiful to do. So yeah, absolutely,
fantastic. That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. And anything else? So that's, you know, we've had some great some great tips and techniques from you. Is there anything else that you'd like to let people know on how to really connect to that soul level way of working?
It's a matter of getting out of your head, essentially. Yes. Just getting out of your head, because we're all up in here trying to figure life out. If we simply drop down into our heart space, which I like to think of as being where your soul resides, it's kind of around the same space. You'll get there eventually. Drop out of your head into in other words, stop thinking everything too much. Stop trying to figure it out, work it out, make it work for you, and just drop into your heart and start to recognize that in your heart space, you are already all of those things that you want to be. You've only got the desire to be them because it's already part of you. And just allow yourself to feel that. If you can feel that now, just in your heart space, just breathe into it. Just allow yourself to feel it. That's who you are. There's nothing missing there. And you can literally be and do and have anything that you want in your heart space. So get back there as often as you can. And it's simply a matter, for people who've never done this sort of thing before, I taught my son very early on, just put your finger on the top of your head, or imagine, because your imagination is really important moving forward. Our imagination, as Einstein said, is the preview of life's coming attractions. Imagination is so important. So you can just simply put your finger at the top of your head, imagine all your thoughts and all your worries and everything that you've been thinking about jumping into the tip of your finger, and just draw your finger down, all the way down, bringing all of those thoughts and dramas and things, and just hold it in your heart space. You can feel the energy gather there. And of course, for those who've done it before, you can simply go drop down into your heart space. It becomes easier and easier, but that's a really good way to just start.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very much a feeling centre there, and feelings get amplified and can be used for, you know, the way that I like to conduct life. My feelings are like my compass and my navigation, and I take heed much more from a feeling base rather than thoughts.
Absolutely. And it can also be your magnetizing place. So allow all your energy to gather there and turn it into joy energy, or by simply thinking about things that give you joy. And then expanding it out, again using your imagination, expanding it out into the world, because as we all know, because most of us these days are familiar with the law of attraction, what you vibrate or you become a magnet to. So if you're vibrating at joy in your heart space, you attract more joy. And of course that might mean more money, more clients, more fun, more relationships, if that's what you're looking for, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, beautiful way to be. Great.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, is there anything else that you feel like you'd like to let people know before we go?
Well, I mean, I could share with people for hours and hours and hours about how amazing they are. And I don't, even people I don't know. One thing that I do know with the work that I do with the guides is that we are far, 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 far more than we believe ourselves to be. Every single one of us, you are far more than you believe yourself to be. We are the physical manifestation of all that is, or of source energy, or of the universe, or even of God, if that's the way you want to put it. We are the physical manifestation of that. And if we simply take that on board, we get to truly become the creator of our reality and create it exactly the way that we want to experience it. We are the physical manifestation of all that is. We should start acting like it. Yeah?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yes. Well, thank you so much, Anne. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us so much to work with there. You really are an incredible human being who offers so much to this world, and I feel very, very blessed to know you and call you a friend. So thank you so much, Anne.
Thank you so much. That was just beautiful. I appreciate that.
Thank you, and have a lovely day and look forward to catching up soon. Thanks.
Okay, bye.